Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live. So excited to be here and to share with you some interactive cards, something with a little ump. Hey, Brenda, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm so much better.
Good. She struggled with the flu bug.
Oh, yes, it was nasty.
Yep, my daughter had it too, and it lingered. It lingered.
Oh, and the headache. Yep, the headache, and all I wanted to do was sleep, which that's not like me at all.
Well, that's me all the time, whether I'm sick or not, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, and that is not me. So, oh dear. But anyway, so I'm so excited about this card today.
You are good.
Tucker doesn't steal the show. So,
do what?
I said if Tucker doesn't steal the show.
The dog is demanding. Oh no, he heard me say DOG. He's demanding some attention today. So
yeah, I'm excited about this card. I have a quick story for you.
Okay.
So my brother passed away a couple years ago, and I was finally going through the rest of his stuff, and I came across his baby book. So there were cards in there that my mom had saved from gifts and things like that. So I've got to show you this one because I'm like, these days when we go to the store and buy a card, this is why we make cards, you guys. These days when you go to the store, you just get this. I don't even have a crappy card laying around, but it's just like pre-printed and they all look alike, right? Look at this cute little card. So first of all, it's got borders all the way around it.
Yeah.
And how cute, right?
Oh, we have to figure out how to make that.
I know it doesn't even have the price on it, but I'm going to say like probably, 75 cents or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah.
It was 1967. So who knows? But I was just like, you know what? We don't look at all that. You don't get that now when you buy a card. So I'm so excited about your card today.
Well, you're absolutely right. Awesome. Yeah. And when it comes to, especially, and I love that you showed a baby card because, baby cards, those mamas, they hold on to them forever.
Evidently.
So 50 plus years later, that card that you made is going to be sitting in somebody's baby book, and we want to create a wow, don't we? So yeah, I love interactive cards, and I think this one's going to be really fun. I've got two different orientations that I'm going to teach you. So we've got options depending on your image or what direction you want your card to go and how much you need to write in it. So I'll tell you what, let's head over to my stamping table. I'm going to show you the cards that we're going to make. And of course, my free download for today. So this one, you're definitely going to want to print off and hold on to that QR code to come back and watch the video again. There's definitely some pieces to the, not pieces, well, there are pieces. Every card has pieces. But you may need to come back to remember how to adhere these cards together. Okay, because, it's, like I said, it's a really fun interactive card. Kind of reminds me of the one that Brenda just showed. So hold on to that QR code, print this out. You'll always be able to come back. Here's your supply list, your measurements, and of course, if you'd like to order any of the supplies, you can click right there to go to my online store. Brenda's going to put the link to that free download there for you. Guess what, Brenda? I left my sheet with all my measurements downstairs. That's okay. Tugger's probably already eaten it. So I'm going to put this somewhere where hopefully I can read my measurements. Okay, truth, guys. I have to make my measurements in a font about this big so I can see them. All right. Well, we are actually going to start with our cherry cards. Let me move this one off to the side. And you're going to love that this card uses so few supplies. I mean, that's always something we like, right? So, standard card base. It is a 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So just a basic card base. We want that furnished. I have got a piece of basic white cardstock, and this is cut 5 by 6. And with the 6 inches up at the top, let me bring in my scoring blade here. You're going to score this. Remember, we want 6 inches up at the top. Let's make sure we have that right. And you're going to score at 2 inches and 4 inches. So that's pretty simple. Basically, we just scored it in thirds. All right. Okay. And then for the inside of the card, we need a piece. In this case, I'm going to be using some real red, 4 inches by 5 1/4. For my focal image on the front, you're going to need a piece of cardstock that is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. We're going to be die cutting from that. So you're also welcome to just go ahead and die cut that. I'll share more about the die cutting here in a minute. But that's going to be used for a focal image. And the last thing we need is just a little scrap of some real red. And that's going to be for our little pull tab. And we need this piece to be a 1 1/4 by 3 inch. All right. Okay. So the dies that we're going to use, where are my dies? My dies are not here. Well, Brenda, entertain us while I go find my dies. Here they are. Oh my goodness. I have to tell on myself because I moved them back over because I went to die cut these pieces in advance and then I left my dies over on the other side. All right, we're going to be using the Stylish Shapes dies today. You can use just about anything. For me, I definitely wanted squares, and this would be the die set to use. And let me show off our stamp set today. Sweet as Cherries. You guys know this one I'm a huge fan of. I think it just reminds me of Mary Englebright, and I love her. And I love cherries. My whole bathroom is done in cherries. So we're going to be using that stamp set. 3 ink pads today. Forgive me. We're going to use some black, some real red, and some shaded spruce. All right, the first thing I am going to do is I'm going to teach you the die cutting that we need to do here. So I'm going to take my card base and I'm going to bring in my die cutting machine. It's always fun trying to get this into the camera. Let me scroll that out of there. And you're going to want base plate 1 and 2 because we're going to be doing a thin die. Cutting plate 3. And on those dies, I want the largest one, okay? We're going to take that. We're going to take our card base and we are going to want to cut that from the center, okay? Or not the center, I'm sorry. We're going to line it up on the 3 sides. So I know that's upside down to you guys, but it just works better for me when I'm trying to fit this into my camera. So what we want to do is line up that die on all 3 sides. Scooch over just a tiny bit. I'm going to take another cutting plate 3 right on top. Now we're going to run this through. Pardon the shake of the camera, but that's the beauty of my table. All right. So what we get is this fabulous opening to our card. I am not going to use this again on this card, but this is going to be a great, no, I am going to use it. Don't even listen to me. I am going to use it. I forgot. We're going to be using that as a little background to our image. So now we want to take the next size down. Okay, go down 1 size. And that 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, we're going to die cut from that. All right. Now, again, I did go ahead and do that in advance. I'm all ready to go there. Since we're die cutting, let's do a little bit more. And we're going to take that 1 1/4 by 3 inch. And I got to figure out which one it was. Was it this one? Let me make sure. I have it right here. Yes, that is the one. We are going to take, and you know, it's really hard to tell you. So we have two, we have 4. So I guess we'll call this the 3rd one. Is that what we want to do, guys? Oh, you guys are giving me thumbs up. Thank you. Especially when I leave things on the other side of the room. We're going to die cut this as well. All right. So that's what we're going to do. And again, it was just some scraps. So you're welcome to use any size, but we want to make sure we can get that full die. All right. We're going to move some things out of the way here so that we can do some stamping. It's stamping time. So yeah, I can go ahead and put my card off to the side here so that we can stamp. I'm going to go ahead and put some grid paper underneath me. And we're going to come in with the cherry. Now, on this piece of cardstock, this is the one that we scored at 2 and 4 inches. I'm going to accordion fold it. Okay. And you can kind of see how it's going to go into your card. Okay. So you kind of get a feel for which direction your accordion fold should go. Because we do want to make sure we know that before we go and start stamping. We're going to stamp here on this center panel. We're going to bring in our real red because cherries look great in real red. I will ink that up. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Oh, I completely understand, Brenda. I don't know what you guys are yapping about. Oh, Ramona says, Connie, you and Brenda are so awesome. Well, Brenda is. I'm just a little bit on the crazy side. Okay, there is one cherry. I'm going to come in with the black, and I'm going to give this cherry a stem. This area of the card, we can still write on here, but this really is just kind of here to make it look really pretty. Let's do our shaded spruce. And of course, every great cherry needs a leaf. Okay. By the way, you see this is kind of that distinctive look. So it has that really great kind of built-in shading. Guys, this piece is done. So I'm going to set that off to the side so that I can work on the front image. And that is this one here. So I'm going to come back in with my cherries or cherry. We're just doing one here. This one we want to put down here in the corner. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put the sentiment on next so that I don't accidentally hit the stem when I'm stamping it. So I'm going to say, thank you for being so, and then we're going to do something really neat with the word sweet here in just a minute. Let's add another stem. Now you can see why I said I wanted to wait on that stem until I got my sentiment on there because I didn't want to hit anything that I didn't want. We're going to add, isn't that so cute? It's looking great. Okay, that is stamped. Guys, my stamping is done. I don't know what stamping is, but we're going to do some embossing now. So let me move some stamps out of my way and close up a couple ink pads. I absolutely love to do heat embossing, and especially black on white. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do the word sweet right here. So finding my card base, there it is. I am going to come in. I'm going to be using my Embossing Editions toolkit. Now it comes with an embossing buddy. Let me open this up because I'm going to go ahead and hit all of that with my embossing buddy because I don't want any of my white embossing powder to get anywhere else. I always tell you guys, if I've touched my face or if I had hand lotion on or anything that might stick to my paper, that embossing powder is going to want to stick to it. This prevents that. This gives us a nice dry surface. So the only thing that's going to stick is my Versamark. We're going to use that Versamark. And we're going to stamp the word sweet. Ink that up. Now, of course, it's always a challenge to see Versamark on black, but I'm going to give that a stamp. Hopefully, yeah, I think you guys can see it. I can. Can you see? All right. Move my Versamark out of the way, and now it's time to do some sprinkling of the embossing powder. Bonnie said she's a little bit late, but she's watching on her lunch break. Awesome. We're glad you're here, Bonnie. All right. Sprinkle with the embossing powder. Looks like I need maybe just a little bit more here. That's what's great about Versamark. We have the option to add a little bit more. Yeah, I just kind of missed a little bit. All right, that looks awesome. I'm going to move that embossing powder way out of the way so that I don't knock it over, which I've been known to do. The little brush that comes in the kit is great if you see, I call them embossing boogers, when you have one of those little dots of the embossing that try to get in the way. I am going to heat up my heat tool here. I always like to preheat my heat tool for about 30 seconds or so before I start embossing my cardstock. I just find that the less time I can have the heat tool on the cardstock, the better, because we don't want to warp it. You know, we want to keep it really nice and, you know, flat. So I hope you guys can hear me over this loud noise. You notice I'm probably about 4 or 5 inches away, and I like to just keep moving my heat tool around. Again, I don't want that cardstock to warp. If I held this here in one place for too long, well, the cardstock's going to get kind of hot, and it might not give that nice flat look that we're going for. Okay, we're starting to melt. So you can see that right now my embossing powder is kind of dull, but here it's going. It's starting to melt. Yeah, there we go. Isn't it so pretty? I still find this magical. I know you guys do too. Brenda said it's another Connieism. Oh Lord, I have no idea what Connieism I just said, but yeah, I got a few of those, don't I? I'm gonna just hit the back of this for just a second. Here we go. This is what I said. I don't want it to warp. So you kind of have that ability to bend if you need to. Now, special tip, don't touch this. I have been known to go woo because I want to touch it because I love it. Don't. It's still hot. Not that it's going to burn you, but we don't want to smear it. So let's set that over there so we don't accidentally touch it. Okay. My friends, I think it is time to put this card together. So that is still cooling just a little bit. I'm going to take that real red cardstock and we'll put some adhesive here on the back. This is going to go on the inside of my card. This adds just a great splash of color. All right, we'll add that there. Now we're going to come in with that accordion piece. Now remember how we accordion folded it. We want to adhere just this last panel. That is important, okay? So only adhesive on this back panel. Of course, the score line kind of tells us exactly where that needs to go. And Cynthia says she loves that red. I know, I do too. It's so bold and pretty. So hopefully you can kind of see I'm just sort of lining it up there on the 3 sides. When you're happy with it, you can give it a press. Are you starting to see how the card's going to go together? All right. I'm going to take that square, you know, the one I said you weren't going to use, and then I changed my mind and said, yes, you are. I want my card closed. By the way, this is good. I can touch it now, no problem. I want to press that card closed, and I'm going to put adhesive right in this opening. And I want to make sure I've got plenty there. And I'm going to slide that right inside that spot. Okay, like so. Now, do you remember that little piece that we cut out of the real red? What I did with this one is I folded it in half. So get that folded right in half, crease it. This is our pull tab. We are going to put some adhesive down that, stick it together. Now we want to add this to our basic black, the square. Okay, we're going to put this right here. So I'll add just a touch of adhesive. I don't want to go off the card, obviously, because I want this to be able to fit into a medium envelope. I'm going to flip it over, make sure my adhesive didn't come off the edge, and it did not. Give that a little press. All right, can you see how it's going together? Guys, the last thing we need to do is we need to add our sentiment, and we're going to do that with my Stampin' Dimensionals. I love Stampin' Dimensionals on cards. They are my favorite, and you know what? They're super affordable. You get so many of them. We're going to add 4 of those. No, we're going to add 5. Let's get one more here in the middle because I want to make sure we don't have anything sagging in the middle there. I should throw these on the floor. Maybe they'll entertain my dog while I work. And guess what? He actually is being good. So he must have got tired of waiting for me to go play ball. All right, we're going to cover up our pull tab there, adding that right in the middle. I don't have my cloth, but now that this is good and dry, I can buff away any of that embossing buddy powder, okay? Because this is a black card, and so that powder can kind of stick around. But now you can see, there's our fun card. We can write our message here, all through here. We've got actually quite a bit of room. It's a fun one, don't you think? I don't know. I'm just all about the interactive cards. I think that one's super cool. What do you guys think? Hope you like it. Now, I do want to share with you another one that goes the other direction. So, and I've got a few tips on this one. So, I want you to see this, though. I can pull it this way. I can pull it this way. Okay. I could pull it this way. You really do have some options here on how you want that to lay. Same with this one, actually. We could have taken it this way, all right? We could have taken it this way. So don't feel like you're just locked into one direction on these cards. All right, so on our bunny card, and let me just give a little disclaimer right now. Our sweet bunny, we love our bunny punch. She has kind of sold out until May. I know, and I'm so devastated. So I apologize. I had made this card long before the bunny went away. I hope she'll come back. But for those of you that have the bunny bundle, and here's the thing with this card in particular, don't use the bunny. Use something totally different. It's fine. I just wanted you to learn this technique. So for this card, our card base is a little bit different. It's 4 1/4 by 11 inches and scored at 5 1/2 because we're doing a different orientation. I have a piece of bashful blue. Man, I'm going old school. How about balmy blue of designer series paper? This is from the Subtles collection. Guys, this is a 4 by 6, okay? There's a reason for that. I'll show you here in a minute. The inside of my card, the measurements for this one is actually cut 4 inches by 8 inches. You're going to want the 8 inches up at the top, and you're going to score at 1 1/2 and 3 1/2. All right. 1 1/2 and 3 1/2. And then just like we did before, we want a little 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 square. Of course, we're going to die cut with our stylish shapes. So here we go. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this piece. I need to do just a tiny bit of cutting. So it was a 4 by 6 with the 6 inches up at the top. We are going to cut that down to 5 1/4. All right. Hold on to this piece here. And we'll be doing some die cutting with that. In fact, everything just keeps getting covered up in my stamp room. Here we go. We are actually going to use this nice, long, narrow one. And you're going to die cut from that remaining piece that was left over. That way we could use that 4 by 6. Of course, we're going to use our great big square. This part is going to be exactly the same. Now, when we adhere this to the front of the card, I want you to stick to the outside edges. You know, some people like to do an X in the middle and all of that. No, not on this one. We want to stick to just the outside edges. So I'm going to go ahead and get just a couple little dabs here. But we're going to be die cutting from the middle of this. And I don't want that designer series paper to be stuck down because we're going to use it. All right, we're good there. Let me bring in my die cutting machine again. And this one, we're going to die cut here up at the top. Okay. So we're going to lay that down just like we did before. Center it on all 3 sides. I will lay a cutting plate. Oh, Cynthia says, what could be cuter than that bunny punch? I know. And I was just so sad because here I was so excited to teach you this. And that silly bunny, I guess, didn't multiply like a bunny. But we will see her back shortly, right? Okay. Let me move these things out of the way. So we're going to pop that out of there. These are not adhered together, okay? So that's awesome. That's what we want. Here's the base of our card. Set that off to the side now. Of course, you guys know we are going to use that, so I'll set that one over. I'm going to bring in a basic gray ink pad, and I am going to ink up my bunny, and watch this. We're going to stamp her right there. And this card, I'm not going to make the entire card for you guys because I've got a doctor's appointment later. So you're going to punch out the bunny. All right. So you're going to use the bunny punch to punch that out. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of how we're going to put this card together. This big area here, you can see how it's going to accordion fold. Let's put adhesive here. And by the way, you can go ahead and stamp this, or you can adhere it down, whichever is most comfortable for you. I know some people like to adhere it down. Some people like to stamp first. Guys, with this one, if you'll take this piece, you know how the other one, we lined up on one side on the end? We're going to line up this one down here at the bottom. All right, so there's that. Just like we did, I'm going to bring this over and see this flap. This one right here, that's where we want the adhesive. You guys have seen me do this. Whoops. We'll add adhesive here. We can take that square. It's going to tuck right inside. It's important that we get that right inside there, because if we got it off, it's not going to open correctly. So you remember the little scrap I had you do? We're going to fold it in half. Give it a little crease. Let's adhere it together. This is, by the way, this is the Country Gingham Designer Series paper. And I love it. And did you see the pretty color on the other side? It is sweet. We're going to add this one up here at the top, just like before. We don't want it to go off the card. So let's just add a little adhesive there. Oh, I almost dropped it. And that's going to go right up here at the top. And I am actually going to line it up with the top of the card. I just don't want to go past that. Center that up. Now let's take that little square, and I'm going to show you real quick how I did some of the stamping. I've got a Pear Pizzazz ink pad for this one. And there is some grass that we're going to put our bunny in. And we're just going to stamp in the middle and then on either side. So that's going to create the grass that we need. We're also, and this, I don't believe I put this in your directions, but guys, you just need a little scrap, and we're going to cut that exact same die, and I stamped Happy Easter. Okay, got some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of my little Happy Easter, and that's going to go here on the front of my card. I'm going to take my grass here. Let's add our dimensionals. Oh, Holly James is on here. Hey, friend, how are you? The Designer Series paper is sometimes hard to choose with side. I know it is. But you know, I have always found that with Stampin' Up's Designer Series paper, there tends to be, not all the time, but there tends to be one side that's maybe a little more whimsical and another side that's a little more elegant. Or, you know, they just try to make them very different. So when you have to decide, it makes it a little bit easier anyway. So here is our focal image. There's how my card opens. Let me go ahead and bring in my original again so I can kind of show you what I did here. So you can see I just adhered the bunny. I did with the Stampin' Blend, I just kind of colored in her ear, and I added her with dimensionals as well. There's my Happy Easter. I'll show you here on the inside. And I stamped Happy Easter and some Easter eggs at the bottom. Obviously, you know, just get creative with what you want to do there on the inside of your card. But that is how we create interlocking cards. I just think these are so much fun. And again, like Brenda and I were talking about at the top of the video, you know, when you're making these cards, people do really keep these for a long time. And just think 50 years from now, your grandson or granddaughter or godchildren will open that card and they'll still have that card and just be so tickled at the card that you created for them. Yeah, so fun, so very fun. Well, hey guys, so I wanted to let you know about next Thursday. Next Thursday, wait, no, I will be back next Thursday, right? I'm getting myself confused. It is February. I keep thinking there was some reason I couldn't be here next Thursday. I may or may not be here next Thursday.
I have a note that you will not be here.
I will not be here. I just can't remember why. I have no idea why. I'll figure it out. If I'm here, I'm here, right? I know, Brenda, and that's exactly why that was in the back of my head going, there's some reason I'm not going to be here next week. But so just stick around, though. Here at YouTube, we have all kinds of stuff going on. And if you like the video, you guys know I always love it when you leave me a thumbs up. So thank you for that. And don't forget to go grab your free download. I always want you guys to have those free downloads. You know, I know a lot of you print them off and put them in a binder. I love to hear that. I love that you now have a place where you can just flip through and look, here's all my ideas and here's all the measurements. And when you see that one card, you go, yeah, that's the one I want to make. And you have everything you need right there. That is just my way of saying thank you. Thank you for tuning in and watching me and joining us here on my crazy lives when not everything goes right. Glad Tugger didn't interfere with the show today.
Is he still in there?
No, he's
okay.
left. I keep looking. I'm waiting for some squeaky toy to come up because that's usually what he likes to do. Hey, mom's busy doing something. With he has this bunny slipper that he loves. So anyway, Brenda, thanks so much for being here and helping me out today. And she's so awesome putting up all the measurements and getting all that information to you. She's kind of amazing. I think I'll keep her for a while. You know, she's my best friend, so I got to keep her for a while. She knows too much. All right, friends, that is all for me. I look forward to stamping with you next week. I've got some new Tuesday tip techniques coming up, and so be sure to hit subscribe so that YouTube can let you know whenever I am back with a new video. That's it for me, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.